So, hello and welcome, Friends Validator community. I think we're live. We're waiting for the first people to enter the live stream. We'll also do an announcement shortly. But yeah, let us talk first about what today's topic is. So today I welcome Claudio from Metapool to the show. Metapool is a dev actually from the NEAR ecosystem. So we will dive deeper into the NEAR ecosystem as well, and we will talk about what the guys are building in terms of liquid staking, but also how they revolutionize the validator game. So with that being said, hello Claudio, pleasure to have you on.
Hello everybody, how you doing? My name is Claudio, co-founder of Metapool, and glad to be here with the FRENS Validator channel.
Yeah, the pleasure is ours. And before we dive deeper into what you guys are building, and before we also dive deeper into the NEAR ecosystem, would be like super cool to give us a little bit of background of yourself. So, how did you enter crypto, for example? What have you been doing so far in the ecosystem? So yeah, would be cool to know this as well. You're muted.
There you go. Yes, so long story short, so with 20 years building SaaS products over in the Web 2.0 side, working with Atlassian, Salesforce, Zendesk, Freshworks, Google and the works, right? Always in the product role, have been a 2-time failed entrepreneur with a couple of social startups, a real estate startup, been an advisor to several companies, most notably Mapillary, a computer vision and AI platform that got sold to Facebook 2 years ago. So really happy to be participating in that one and getting a sense of how open source and closed source can work together and collaborate to build value on putting community front and center of the value proposition for a platform, which is what got me a little bit into crypto. I got into crypto in 2018 during that first kind of like bull run. Managed myself not to get totally wrecked on that one. But still, I participated in what at that time was a liquid fund, which was at the time a really novel idea, right, for Latin America. And so, just for context, for everybody, I'm based in Mexico City. I'm from Tijuana, so I've been a lot into this cross-border development country kind of state of mind. And for me, what crypto brought in for entrepreneurs is access to liquidity, right? If you're a startup in the Web 2.0 side, if the liquidity event for the founder only has 2 options. Either you go public, which in Latin America is totally impossible, right? Or you have an exit, which again, it's 1 in 30 or 40, or now maybe 1 in 100 with this current bear market, right? And so a liquid fund really brought in this the one of the most important use cases for crypto and Web3, which is immediate liquidity, right? And so anyhow, managed to get wrecked on that one as well. At the end of the day, it was the securities that the team was building, and so anyhow, I lost money there. Not a lot, but anyhow, it was a very interesting deep dive into how you build smart contracts. And so this fund told me, hey, like, are you interested to get into the middle of it, right? Like, we hired this firm from India, and so that was my first access to code on the Web3 space. In this case, Ethereum. In this case, Solidity. And at that time, just the contrast between documentation, like in Atlassian, Google, or whatnot, documentation in Ethereum, where at that time was a wiki, right? And you had to go to like this forum to talk to devs. Let's say that I was like, okay, we're gonna put how much money into this smart contract, which is supported by this at that time. Well, I didn't know it was a foundation, right? Ethereum.org/wiki or whatnot. I was like, okay, so this is not. I think I'm not gonna put a lot of cash into this. I'll go into it as an experiment. So anyhow, long story short, I didn't participate in any of the ICOs at that time. You have to understand that in Latin America, those there's a lot of Ponzi schemes. Like we have public companies that are Ponzi schemes. That Amway, that thing called Herbalife, right? Like, hey, those are pyramid schemes, right? And they're public companies here in Latam, right? And so when people were coming up, like, send crypto to this wallet, and then we will send you eventually tokens. And I was like, no, there's no way I'm going to do that. Sorry about it. And I saw a bunch of good projects passed on. Then through participating in AngelList, I got an invitation to the beta of CoinList. And so with that, I participated in the token offerings from Blockstack, now called Stacks, Near, of course, Celo, Solana, Definity, Rally, and a couple of them, right? And you need to understand that I was still not into this decentralization or this permissionless mentality or ethos, right? I wasn't aware of it. For me, it was technology where I could build solutions that are decentralized. And so I participated in those offerings, right? Did the KYC AML, right? For me, it was totally normal, right? It was something not out of the ordinary or against the ethos of decentralization. For me, it was, this is a company that I trust, which is AngelList, which is launching this platform called CoinList, and I'm assured that I will at least get something, right? Not just a disappearing website and then sending emails or writing to a forum or a Telegram group and then hope for the best, right? And prepare for the worst. And so I participated in all this CoinList offerings, started to get some of the tokens, and then started to learn and understand what's the value proposition and how to build on top of. And that's how I got in front of Rust, the Rust programming languages. At that time, for me, Rust was something more for kind of like AI intensive, like very, very enterprise, grade ready systems, right? For me, it was not something that I could say, oh, this is for consumer facing, right? Can this be used for consumer facing applications? And that's how I got it started with, so this is, and then understanding that on Web3, there is no backend, right? Like it's not like you have the servers and then you have the node and it's running. No. Sorry, you're writing directly to it's on chain, right? And the backend is the protocol itself, right? And so started experimenting, did a bunch of failures, like 6 months working with Blockstack, didn't work out. Solana, very difficult to get it up and running. Celo, too much focused on the mobile side. Definity, well, was there, not there. Great documentation, but still building. At the end of the day, I bring is this Web 2.0 ethos in the sense that, for Definity, it's like, they're trying to run AWS on chain, right? Okay, perfect. That's fine. But first you need to have the solutions in front of the users. Then you build the robust backend to support it, or on-chain protocol to support it. Anyhow, I did a bunch of learnings, got in front of Near. At that time, they were running State Wars 1, getting up the validator nodes. To be honest, I'm not a DevOps guy, right? It's not my thing. And so I participated. I looked at the forums, the discussions on Discord, and basically we have a saying in Mexico and Latin countries. I saw that detrás de la barrera, behind the wall, right? It's like in the bull ring, right? And you're behind the wall, and you see everybody there getting rammed and ran over by the bull, right? But you're behind the wall, and then you're seeing the carnage, but you're not participating in it, right? Because I had nothing to put into the table. Then, they announced that it's going to go on mainnet, right? They announced that, yes, through our Near tokens being locked on CoinList, you can participate in it, create your first wallet. And so I participated in this all onboarding process, and it was really seamless and well done. By that time, I had met Ilya a long time ago on his Google days when I was working for a nearshoring company in Mexico, and I went to Google I/O and I saw him with the TensorFlow team and whatnot, right? And so everything was working, and in that sense, it gave me a lot of confidence to start to look into how to build solutions on top of Near. And that's how I met my co-founder Lucio. We met on the Discord server on Near. I asked who is building on top of Near from Latin America, and everybody pointed to Lucio. At that time, Lucio was doing NAR wallets, or focusing on NAR wallets, which is basically the MetaMask for the Near ecosystem, right? On top of the Chrome extension wallet. And so anyhow, that's how we started exchanging ideas and whatnot. At that time, I was coming in with the idea of decentralized document management. I came more from the Atlassian background and said, hey, this is something I think could work. At the end of the day, long story short, no, sorry, document management on the on-chain information is not going to cut it. It's not performance-wise, it's not there. Security-wise, yes, but anyhow. So that's how I got started into understanding how to build on top of Near. Then Lucio comes up with this white paper on, hey, I'm going to build liquid staking on Near. And I said at that time, okay, so it's a derivative. The staking rewards are coming into being accrued by this token. And I was like, I don't know, Lucio, I don't see this, how it's going to play, right? And he says, okay, no worries. Then he comes back a month later and says, hey, this is what I want to build. And so he sends me the link to Lido Finance, right? I start seeing all the Ethereum Denver talks, the DevCon talks from Vlad and from Constantine, right? And then I immediately got it, right? Okay, so can be used. This is a accruing and value asset. This can be used for lending and borrowing and lending platforms. And say, okay, perfect. Now I understand. And I said, okay, let's go. Let's try it. And then how far are you into it? And he said, it's been I got 2 months on testnet on it. I just need somebody to launch it. And that's what I've done throughout my career on SaaS, is go-to-market strategy, community building. And by that time, I was one of the founders for Near Hispano, which is the Spanish-speaking community on Near, focused on education. And so I said, okay, yeah, let's give it a go, right? And so, long story short, we launched on August 23 last year. We've been on mainnet since going to be 16 months in 10 days. And we've had now 9.03 million Near being delegated through our liquid staking platform. We are one of the most active platforms on DeFi, second to a DEX on Near. We're also active on the EVM compatible network called Aurora. And we're, been building since December last year, right? We built a crowdfunding platform leveraging liquid staking called MetaYield. We just now announced a Meta staking boat, which we'll talk a little bit later, which is going to allocate 15% of the total delegation by the platform is going to be dictated and voted by the community. And they're the ones that are going to be influencing how the DAO distributes delegation on the Near protocol. So really excited about it. We got amazing support from the Near Foundation, from Proximity Labs. We have amazing backers. Dragonfly is behind us, Dharma Capital, Palmera Crypto, D1 Ventures, Move Capital, Big Brain, Sky Vision, IOSG. So it's been we had this Cinderella story, right? Like 2 random guys, one from Argentina, one from Mexico, raising money from top tier VCs, good support from the foundation, and as well as other partners. And here we are, right? Trying to understand what's the next bounce of the ball. We've right now have support for custodial services as well. We understand this big shift in the market right now that regulators are here to stay, and the conversation with regulators is going to be how can we say a constant in the ecosystem, right? And so we are preparing to support that as well. And so here we are, Judy. Excited to be talking to your community. And and here I have to say, like, I tip my hat to you and the Friends Validator team for running Cosmoverse. It was a great event in Medellin. You really brought you really threw the house out the window for sure, man. I know you must have been exhausted, but it was a great event. And to anyone that missed it, yes, the FOMO was real.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Yeah, it was indeed a very cool event, and hope that to have you guys next year on the ground as well. And yes, we can see you've had a long journey so far in the crypto industry in general, and also beyond that. But yeah, like you mentioned that like Friends is more involved like in the Cosmos ecosystem, so I think it makes sense to just dive a little bit deeper into the Near ecosystem before we dive deeper into Metapool. So you mentioned, for example, Aurora. So I would say, like, let's discuss some of these terms. But before that, like, just a quick overview. I will share my screen in a second. So I would like to have a look at DeFi Llama, just to get like a basic understanding of how large the Near ecosystem is, and how much volume and liquidity we have seen in the peak. So actually, I was a little bit surprised because as of now, apparently, liquidity is kind of constrained on Near. So we have $75 million TVL. So could you like walk us through here? So for example, how much in stablecoins is locked here? What is the most dominant stablecoin in the Near ecosystem? Maybe also like walk us a little bit through the depth. So yeah, would be cool if you could help us here.
Yes, so it's definitely the FTX fiasco. Like, yes, Alameda participated in the last round for Near, right, that the Near Foundation raised. They very actively have stated that there's no contagion from the FTX fiasco, that the tokens are locked for another 2 years, right? So they're not able to sell it. So that and Alameda had participated in a bunch of and actually we were talking to Alameda, but I guess like my third world country instinct kicked in, right? And I said, hey, like, yeah, I'll research on it. Saw a couple of things that I didn't really like, and really passed on the conversations with Alameda now. So we really dodged the bullet on that one. So yeah, so we've seen like any L1, right, struggle with this, right? Liquidity has been tight. Yes, a lot of institutional investors have like kind of like it's a wait and see attitude, right? But we're seeing the community is still active. We're still building, right? And the Ref Finance is still there. It's like the largest stacks, right? You can see us as going second with the liquidity. Then Borrow Cash is a good partner of ours as well, which is a lending and borrowing solution. There's, for example, with Borrow, a very interesting scenario happened, right? They, for compliance reasons, blocked all US IP addresses, right, to interact with that platform. They're doing a handoff internally to another team. And so there's a couple of a lot of changes happening internally in the Near ecosystem that has put like kind of stagnate the amount of liquidity coming into the ecosystem, right? But for example, right now, Proximity Labs, which is a good partner of ours, they put up a $10 million fund to launch order book dexes on Near. Orderly is one of them. Spend is one of them, right? There's also Tonic is another one, right? So it's kind of like a wait and see attitude right now. A bunch of them have Orderly raised a bunch of cash. Stater also is coming in there, which is a competitor to ours, right? They had an issue as well. There has been, security has been one of the main problems for all layer ones, right? I was recently, I saw that on the first week of December, right? Like there was a hack on the BNB chain, right? Anchor got hacked and whatnot. There was a security bug there, and so Near is no exception as well, right? For example, one of the launch pads called Skyward got hacked as well, they drained the treasury. So there's been issues where there's a wait and see attitude right now. Luckily, in this, I knock on wood, we haven't had any security issues so far, and at the moment we're pretty active and we're still building, right? And this, I need to give a shout out to our development team, right, led by Lucio, Mansa, Kun, Daniel, Jose Maria, Ivan, who's not with us anymore, and Lautaro, who's not with us anymore, but they did an excellent job of building the infrastructure to sustain our growth and also what we have built, right? And so
Yeah.
in this sense, it's very important for everybody to understand that even though it's kind of like, yes, it's stagnated a little bit for the last few months, there's a lot of initiatives behind it to kick it off again, right? But yes, everybody's at a wait and see attitude. Go ahead, Judy.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. I mean, every ecosystem is affected by it. I just found it funny that like all of your developers have like South American names. Just found this a little bit funny, but yeah, like in terms of Near, I think yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, we also see pretty similar statistics, for example, in the Solana ecosystem. But yeah, I was not so aware that Near was so affected by the Alameda research fall down, but also like for the people to make them like understand Near from a very broad perspective. So Near is a blockchain, and it also, of course, uses proof of stake, and it is EVM compatible through Aurora. So it's not an EVM chain itself. Even though sometimes people might think that's not true. It uses Aurora, and this is how it is EVM compatible. And I remember being at NearCon in 2021 in Lisbon, and back then Aave was like proud to announce that they would move to Near as well, and then also this ecosystem fund, this massive ecosystem fund. I think it was like 150 million, the largest ecosystem fund ever. So yeah, question: what happened with all of this? So is Aave now on Near? What is with all the other dApps, and what happened with the ecosystem fund? So what's the state?
Yeah, no, the ecosystem fund's still up and running, right? So Proximity is Proximity Labs. If you go to proximity.dev, let me share you the link so you can put it in the comments as well.
Yeah, we have our private chat here.
They're really active. So they're the ones pushing the $10 million fund for decentralized order books. Let me put it right here. And they're the ones that were they have that ecosystem fund to funnel to the different DeFi projects, right? Also, very importantly, the Near Digital Collective, which is another one that Ilya and Henry Tafola announced as well. And it's kind of like a perfect storm, right? The funds are there to be deployed, but still there's a wait and see attitude here. We are pushing to get things up and running, right? For example, Stake Wars 3 ended a few months back. We're going to be onboarding around 150 chunk-only producer nodes, which are going to be running on the second chart for the proof of stake network of Near. And so let me send you information on that one as well. And so definitely it's been one of those, and this is the GitHub, so everybody can always also see all the information behind it. Let me share it with you as well. And so there's the community is being active, right? But there's also this question for all layer ones that they're trying to answer. It is how is participating in the network going to be sustainable, right? Because this is something everybody have seen their revenue fees sliced 60, 70, 80%, right? And so sustainability is a very important conversation to be had, like the business model behind it, right? How can we make it viable for chunk-only producer nodes to participate in the network, right? Because everybody's saying, hey, we're doing the calculations, and with the current fee structure and at the Near price point, it doesn't make any business sense. And let's be honest about it. It needs to make business sense for people to participate if you're going to invest in hardware. for builders is, are there going to be an audience there for my product to be consumed, either an NFT, either a creator, either a DeFi protocol, right? And so that's going to be very important for everybody to get to have those conversations openly. And so those conversations are done now at the governance forum in NEAR, right? And so they're not easy conversations. People there heated debates, as in every L1, right? I know Cosmos has its own thing going on as well. It's internal debates, right?
We love drama.
It feeds us. It feeds us, right? But sometimes it's not spoon fed, right? It's like hose fed. So you're trying to not to get not to drown in all the drama, right? And so yes, the funds are there to be distributed, but right now NEAR Foundation is at like a wait and see who can sustain, because this is very important. There's going to be a lot of scammers right now stating, hey, yes, I'm going to build this. They get the funds and then they get out, right? And so we want to avoid the bad actors. And I think this is, it is not the optimal way of moving forward. But yes, everybody's risk averse right now. And having those conversations openly on, like, okay, who's going to deliver value, right? And as Metapool, as liquid staking solution, we're trying to do our best to also be open about it. Hey, we're going to start to let the community decide how the delegation is going to be done on Metapool, right? And that's why we launched a meta staking boat, right? Then how are we going to be onboarding chunk-only producer nodes, right, as well? And so it's a very delicate, everybody's skating on thin ice right now. And nobody wants to go to inside the lake because the water's freezing and it's a crypto winter, right? So it's like you don't want to drown because you didn't know how to swim. It's just because it's too cold out there to just move, right? And so everybody's like doing the best steps that they can, right? And everybody's trying to do their best. Very importantly, failures are going to be the name of the game, right? There's going to be a lot of failures in every ecosystem. We need to be mindful that everybody gave it their best if they're not a bad actor. And if they fail, they fail. And we shouldn't like beat the dead dog, right? It's like, okay, it happened. There's a security bug. Yes, Skyward failed, right? Then, okay, what's the next step? Well, for us, is like, well, we have this crowdfunding platform called MetaYield. Can they use it? Well, does it make business sense as well? So there's a lot of questions to be answered in a very short time, and patience is the name of the game.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I mean, I have a good feeling about the NEAR ecosystem generally. And yeah, by the way, a quick question. So how many validators do NEAR support as of now?
Right now, it's 130 nodes are active, and a few others. Let me send you the link also for this one. It's at nearstaking.com. If you go there, you can see all the current validator nodes being, and then this one, if you can share your screen, there you can query all the validator nodes that are there. Also, if you go to boat.metapool, I'll share you the link as well. There you can see the allocation that our protocol is, the delegation that's been allocated to different validator nodes as well. Let me send that over to you. By the way, great job by the nearstaking.com. I think those are Stardust is one of the validators that put it up and running. But anyhow, so it's you can see there the allocation, how much it moved, and so it's a great way for you to understand like how is the market cap, the volume, circulating supply, right? And so it's a pretty cool website.
Yeah, and you can also see the seed price. So in order to get in right now, you need at least 20,500 NEARs, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, and now this is how we basically move the discussions topic to Metapool. So yeah, because you guys, so I think there are like two phases of your project, as I also indicated here in the ticker. Let's also go to your website. Because I think there are like a couple of things to unwrap here. So first of all, you are a liquid staking solution, as we have seen on DeFi Llama. So you have like a lot of liquidity. You're like the second most dominant DApp in the Near ecosystem. But besides that, you also run a program for validators, in order to launch on Near. So could you maybe talk a little bit about this distribution program that you just started?
Yes. So Meta Staking Boat, and just to give people a little bit of context, right? So Metapool, the main liquid staking smart contract, runs on a DAO. So when we launched last year, we've allocated around 57.4% of all Meta governance tokens will be allocated to the community. That is our compromise or our vision for how a liquid staking solution should be run, and it should be run by the ecosystem. It should be run by the community, because at the end of the day, if the goal for a liquid staking solution is to help decentralize a protocol, make it more capital efficient, the last say should be done by the community, right? Of course, we're learning this as we go, right? We're no experts, me and Lucio, right? We're builders. We can build great products, but then nobody has the playbook for how a DAO should be run or should be created. We've seen this, right? Even in the Lido Finance Governance Forum, right? You see a lot of drama there as well. It's still only a couple of stakers or governance token allocators are the ones making the decisions. We want to avoid that, but at the end of the day, we should deliver a healthy, profitable protocol to the community to run. If not, then it doesn't make any sense for the community to start making all the operational decisions. So right now we're focusing on delivering a healthy protocol, and how are we going to be doing that is by putting Near token holders front and center of everything we do, right? And so when we launched Metapool, we launched it through a community launch. We now distribute around maybe 20 million. Right now, there's around 100 million Meta tokens being allocated to the community. That's around 10%. The market cap is 1 billion tokens. And so slowly but surely, we're spreading the governance to the community, right? And so when we launched Meta Staking Boat, we launched it with the idea, with the focus, the goal for community members to decide on something that is essential for a liquid staking solution, which is how it delegates the delegated tokens, right? And so in this sense, that's why we built Meta Staking Boat. I just sent you before we go into that. And so, but then again, how do you build a healthy protocol? Well, you service the protocol itself, the token holders. So not only are we doing staking on the Near protocol side, we're also doing staking on the Aurora side, right? We launched MetaYield, which is a crowdfunding campaign to help projects launch on Near, and then allocating some of the staking rewards, ST Near staking rewards to those projects as well. And we are also doing meta recipes, allocating the how you bundle and unbundle LP tokens in different dexes. So it is like a suite of products around liquid staking that we're pushing, right? Here you can see Meta Staking Boat. What it shows is basically you're gonna go to there's also this Meta Boat, which is the main site to get voting power. So here you will see how it's been distributed, right? We right now have 121 validator nodes that anyone can allocate their voting power to get 1.20. Well, it's now 1.34 million. Well, So yeah, 1.34 million near that we're going to start to distribute to all the validator nodes that get the maximum amount of voting. Right now, you see Ready Layer 1 is leading it. Here you have Stardust. And so you have a couple of them that have been accruing voting power. And with this, the DAO is distributing more of that 1.34 million near to them, right? We're alpha beta testing this, right? In the sense that it's never been done on the near ecosystem, and we're trying to see how this will move the needle, and more importantly, get the meta community, the meta token holder community, onboarded into deciding, into understanding how their hodling of the meta token will have an impact on the ecosystem itself and on the decentralization of the near protocol as well. So anyhow, really, really happy about this. I think right now there's like around 6 to 7 million meta tokens being allocated into the voting. And so, yeah, so really, really excited about this one.
But everyone will get nears distributed. So let's say let's say a validator like here and this one here in the almost in the last row has not that much meta token, but still is like voting and voting and voting. Will this validator who's not owning that much meta, will this validator still get nears distributed? And is this and can people calculate this?
Yes, we will be providing. We will be distributing kind of like a spreadsheet so people can do their calculations themselves and understand like how the distribution will happen. This, to be totally transparent here, we will be allocating on the top 25 nodes being voted, right? Because at the end of the day, we want for people to have a good outcome out of this. For those that couldn't get the necessary allocation of votes, then yes, at the end of the day, yeah, we cannot service everybody, right? There will be one of the things that we're gonna have to really work on is that no power loss happen here, right? Yes, right now, Ready Layer 1 is accruing most of the voting, but then as more validator nodes accrue voting, this will help spread it to all validator nodes that have a certain threshold, right? Sweet spot will be around maybe 35 to 55,000 near should be distributed evenly to all validator nodes participating through meta staking vote, right? So as more votes are being accrued in the system, it helps distribute it evenly to all validator nodes, right? And giving everybody a fair shot at getting that delegation, right?
So like question here is like entering or like staying in the active set is kind of realistic if you invested in Meta in the early days, right?
Exactly.
Okay, exactly. I see. And yeah, next question is actually like let's scroll up here to the beginning. So we see here the 1.34 million nears that are about to get distributed. What actually happens if all of the 1.34 million near are distributed? What happens then?
So and this is also incentivizing people to delegate to Metapool, right? So as Metapool starts accruing more TVL, we will have more near to distribute through meta staking vote. It's as easy as that, right? So right now we started with 1.1, 1.15, and in just less than a week, we've increased that because we've seen the increase in our TVL as well, right? When we started was around 8.3, I think we had, and now we have 9.03 million. And so it creates a flywheel effect, right? That as we are accruing more TVL, more people are delegating through Metapool, then we have more near to distribute to validator nodes. So the idea is for this to be a flywheel and always and try to steadily but evenly start going up and to the right.
Nice. Yeah, and in terms of that, so you are basically an accelerator for decentralization on near, so to say. So I think you can put it like this, that you have a lot of responsibility in the ecosystem because of it. So is there like not only is there like also a certain risk involved here? Because if you are like somewhat a party in between that is like so essential for decentralization, and also that you kind of give people incentives to stake with them. So do you also see a risk here, or is there maybe another entity that aims to do the same? So maybe we can talk about this as well here.
Yeah, no, and let's talk it openly, right? Yes, there is, and this is why we're working with the contract has gotten audited. I think the last audit was in May, so we are getting our second audit by a second party, a security firm. We will be hopefully before the end of the year, we will be letting everybody know who's going to do the audit, and hopefully before the end of January, that audit is going to get done. The contract itself is not too complex, right? And so so we think we're going to be able to get that audit in, right? Yes, contract risk, it is always there, right? Luckily, the product has the contract has been running for more than 15 months with no incidents whatsoever. Reason for this, that also Near Foundation to Proximity Labs, they delegated in February 1.5 million Near to us. That is why also on the stake wars, the foundation delegated 2.17 million Near to us as well. They see us as a good partner, that there's no contract risk, but still we will get audited early next year. So there's this, how can I say, we cannot guarantee security 100%, but at least we're taking the right measures in order to secure our platform and for us to continue to deliver value for the Near ecosystem, right? Other than that, very importantly, the contract is permissionless and non-custodial. So that means that when you sign and when you delegate, you will always have control over your staked assets. So if there's this, how can I say, Armageddon situation where the protocol itself disappears, we will put in the safety measures for people to basically, they can run the code for the smart contract, and they can ask for the delegation back directly from the delegated node, the validator nodes. So that's something we haven't documented. It's something that we have it internally. We haven't gotten the time to like document it correctly, so everybody can understand how, if that scenario happens, how they can get back their delegated tokens. And so hopefully, yeah, before the end of Q1 next year, we will have that in place. We are doing that on the custodial side, right? We do have that safety measure with our partners from Finoa, from Fireblocks as well, which we're partners delivering this value. And so anyhow, so it is a very high concern from our development team and from our partners, and we're taking the safety measures in order to have that deliver to the Near ecosystem and to our partners as well, and to institutionals as well.
Yeah, makes total sense. And I mean, there's always a risk. So I would be worried if you would have answered no, there's no risk involved here, because yeah.
No,
this,
and to be honest, also to everybody, just quote unquote, right? Everything we've said here is not financial advice. Please do not take our word for it, right? And more importantly, and this is a really hard lesson that everybody's learned this year, is yes, trust but verify, right? Don't take it my word for it, right? The code is there. You can go to our GitHub repository, and yes, there's our Discord. Ask the questions, ask the tough questions. If we do not address them, then that's a red flag for any platform or protocol, right?
Yeah. And speaking of your platform, let's go back here. So we have talked about your validator program, which is like super interesting. But now let's also talk about the user's perspective. So you can also normally do liquid staking here on the platform. So could you like maybe talk a little bit about the other side of Metapool?
Yes. So when we launched, right, we saw early two important things. Is we saw that there was a good amount of NEAR being delegated to self-custodial nodes. And this is from some of our investors like Dragonfly, for example, Electric Capital. Then we saw like nodes like Figment, Copper, right, which offer custodial solutions. Finoa as well, they have their own node. And so we said, this is something that we need to support eventually, right? Early last year, right? Like nobody was giving us the time of the day. Like we reached out to like a Copper, a Figment, we reach out to Fireblocks, Finoa, BitGo, right? Anchorage, even Coinbase Custody, right? Nobody will give us the time of the day. As we progressed, as the conversations around how institutionals are going to interact with DeFi, then the custodial providers started to listen to us, right? So really happy about this. We got Fireblocks to support, and we announced that at NearCon in September. Now we have our first partner that is going to be integrating with the custodial side of Fireblocks. And this is something, if you want to, this is some alpha for everybody here. So we are going to be integrating, and this is going to be the first integration. I'm going to send it over to you so you can also share the screen if you want. So there's this startup called Cressy.io, which is a crypto credit card that is going to allow people to grab their NEAR, stake it, and then it's in Spanish, so it's for the Spanish-speaking audiences. And then through the staking rewards, have the staking rewards, and then for them to use that on their crypto credit card. So that's super exciting. That is something that we're bringing through our custodial solutions that we're doing. So that's like a big alpha. We haven't discussed this. This is the first time we're dropping this. It's very much focused for Latam, but this gives you an idea on where we're heading, right? How we believe that liquid staking is being done. And so a shout out to the Cressy team for believing in this project. And so this is happening sooner rather than later. And so yes, that's going to be more focused for right now the people in Mexico. But anyhow, so it's just the start for what we're going to be building in the next couple of years.
No, I think this is exactly what I love to see right now. I mean, like in the last bull run, we have seen a lot of new cool applications coming out. I mean, Aave became so big overnight. We have seen like this big Solana pump and all of these things. Also, liquid staking became like a super dominant topic. But at the end of the day, if I would talk to my parents, for example, I never ever I will convince them to use these kinds of dApps in the current in the current design. So it's super hard for people to wrap their heads around crypto and DeFi and so on and so forth. The UX is not very good most of the times, but here we have like a credit card, so people use it in the real life. So I think this is what I'm looking forward to the most in this bear market, that we focus on really serving for the sake of mass adoption, and not that we just say we are serving mass adoption, but we are not really focusing on that. So that's super cool to see here. Yeah, but let's zoom out again and go back to Metapool,
Yes.
because you also have a token. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that. So right now I've tried to see it like on CoinMarketCap, but it isn't listed yet. So I would like to pick your brain on this as well. So what can I do with Meta except staking it in order to become a NEAR validator? What is my advantage of holding it, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, let me send you this one. So this is, we're on CoinGecko. We need to get the CoinMarketCap. You can see it in CoinGecko. I just sent you the link.
Mhm.
So the most important thing is, as I stated before, it is Metapool runs fully on a DAO, and with this governance token, what it allows Meta token holders is for them to have a say in how the protocol will behaves, and also have a say in the protocol, right? We're still building the incentives mechanism for the tokenomics, right? Because we understand that, yes, it's important for people. A lot of people see this as a way for them to get exposure to the fees, to the revenue of the protocol. We also believe that that's important. We need to build it, right? And we need to build it in a way that it's scalable. And how can it scale if the protocol has revenue? Right now, to be honest, it's just the fees are really low. Right now, we're running on the support on the money we raise from investors, and so it doesn't make any sense to distribute revenue, right? We are we did increase our fees. Right now, what's the business model behind the protocol? Is we generate fees from the staking rewards. That is from the 10% APY, we take 4% from that. As you see, it's quite low. Normally, for all liquid staking solutions, it's around 10%, which means that from the 10% of the staking rewards, the liquid staking solution gets 1% from that, right? So if the staking rewards, the monthly staking rewards fees are, I don't know, $10,000, then the liquid staking solution gets $1,000, right? In this sense, we take half of that, less than half, right? So and why did we did this? Because we didn't want to how can I say, affect the node operators and the delegators, right? We let them get most of the fees. Now the second revenue stream is our liquidity swap pool. So how does it affect the protocol itself? Is that internally we have an AMM, a swap pool, basically, and then you can participate as an LP. 55% of the fees go to the LPs, and then 45% to the protocol itself. So right now, those are the only two revenue streams. So when we launched, we said, hey, this is, at the end of the day, this is not going to be sustainable long run. So what we did? We moved over to Aurora. Why we supported the EVM compatible Aurora network is because the consensus mechanism and the validator mechanism, the security and consensus mechanism runs on a shard on Near. That smart contract from Aurora runs on Near directly. And so by supporting decentralization of the protocol, we're also supporting the Aurora ecosystem. And so that's why we're the only liquid staking solution where you can stake with the MetaMask wallet or any EVM compatible wallet using wrap Near, interacting directly to the Metapool protocol. And so that opens up an avenue to increase our revenue. Then the other thing that we did is we launched MetaYield, which is a crowdfunding platform. I also share with you the link to not only provide a launch pad for projects to launch on Near, but also projects to get access to staking rewards on a more sustainable manner. What happens is that with MetaYield, and this is very important, and this is related to the Meta governance token, in order for projects to get exposure to this crowdfunding platform, the community votes for them. And how do they vote for them? They use our Meta governance token. So we're slowly but surely giving utility to the Meta governance token. And so it's an uphill battle, to be honest, right? It's not something. It's not. There's no playbook around it, and we're figuring it as we are building the protocol itself. Yes, Judy.
So could you somewhat argue that we see a shift of governance from Near to the Meta token, actually?
So, and this is yeah, It is a possibility, but at the end of the day, it is only affecting the DAO, the Metapool DAO, right? There's for Near protocol, there's no doubt, and this is the vision for Near, right? The vision for Near, it is a protocol that allows applications to run fully on a DAO. Actually, the wallet themselves are a smart contract. A wallet, like if you go to meta-pool.near, that's the main contract that is running on a DAO, right? So even my own wallet, right? If it's a Claudio.near, I can run a DAO directly on that wallet as well. That's how the composability of the Near protocol allows the builder to do. And so, yes, what their vision is that Near protocol itself and all wallets can run on DAOs. The DAO can have DAOs running on top of it as well. So there's a composability mechanism here, very, very well done by the Near protocol team. That it hasn't been fully exploited, not exploited in the bad sense, but built on top of, right? So right now, Meta token is the only NEP141 token that is being used to vote on the UI side. You can use the command line interface. That's what AstroDAO is supporting. But through Meta staking vote, it is the only smart contract that is using a governance token on the UI side for people to actually go and vote and make it UI friendly, right? So anyhow, we're building on top of it. We're bullish on how you can build on Near, but we're also bullish on our vision, right? And how we can take this vision to other layer ones. That's really important. We're exploring other layer ones as well, and we'll see what their technology can, where there's a crossroads between our vision and the technology we're building on top of, right?
Yeah, that's actually so because we're like getting closer and closer to the hour. Last question from my end is, so what are your plans in regards of other crypto ecosystems? Because you have been hanging around at Cosmoverse. What does that mean?
Yeah. So we've actually, and there's a shout out here to the Crown Cat team, to Curtis, Trevor as well. I know they're big on the Cosmos ecosystem. They're the ones that basically nudged us to look into the Cosmos, right? We've also looked into the Polkadot ecosystem as well. So a lot of our investors are big on the on the DOT ecosystem. But on the Cosmos ecosystem, I was really brought into the attention on that ecosystem by DYDX. So we have approached DYDX early this year. They told us that they were going to build on top of Cosmos. I know that project itself is running into some challenges, right? And so I said, you know what? Let's go to Medellin, right? Like let me see it. Let me see if the FOMO is correct, right? And definitely, I saw a vibrant ecosystem. Are we looking into the Cosmos ecosystem? Yes, we are. We are, but we need to understand where the crossroad is. For us, for example, and this is where the crossroad, this is the challenge, right? We don't run any nodes. It goes against our ethos. Like if you want to build a liquid staking solution and you want to decentralize, then you cannot be part of the node operator network. It just doesn't work. It just goes against what Lucio and I think a liquid staking solution should do. And so we don't run any nodes. And this was a common question asked during Cosmos, right? It's like, are we running a node? I'm like, no, we don't run nodes on Near. Like it goes against on why we build it in the first place, which has that particular challenge for Cosmos, right? Most of the liquid staking solutions, they run nodes, right? And so here's like, okay, so we need to build this community of node operators if we're going to be launching on the Cosmos ecosystem. And so that has been kind of like the blocker for now. We're exploring, of course, Ethereum. We explore early this year Definity as well. We've explored actively Binance as well. We are exploring also, yes, like Aptos and Sui and whatnot, right? For now, and this is something that we will be building on top of Aurora. We will be building our solutions on top of the EVM compatible network. That's like a low-hanging fruit for us. But other than that, we still haven't committed to the other layer ones. We've explored them, of course. We've built some POCs on top of them, but nothing that we can put our stamp of approval to go on testnet and start to interact with the community, right? So hopefully we will have more news on this one coming January, February. But definitely, yes, we're exploring. We're at the exploration mode. And for us, it's understanding who are the right partners, how they operate, if we have the same values as well. Are they putting, in this case, Atom token holders front and center of everything they do? And sometimes I find it that that's a challenge. No, we're not running Metapool for. We want to run Metapool to be as efficient as possible, but we do not want to build a company. We're running a DAO, and it's going to be community run. And that's a question we ask when we go to the other layer ones. And it's like, is this something you're interested in supporting?
Yeah,
sometimes
and I think
that conversation is difficult to have.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I mean, like now it's a bear market, so now you have time to explore other ecosystems. So yeah, also like saw Cosmos for the very first time in the bear market actually. So yeah, the bear market is also like a great opportunity as always. So yeah, let's see what comes out of this. With that being said, so Claudio, we just reached the hour. I think that's a perfect timing to wrap it up here. Yeah, guys, please feel free to follow Metapool on Twitter. Everything is noted in the show notes. You've also seen like all the websites we have explored. Happy to link them into the show notes as well. And with that being said, guys, yeah, thank you so much, Claudio, and I hope I see you the next time.
Thank you very much, Judy. To all the Friends Validator community, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Yes, find us on Discord, Telegram, metapool.app, and ask your questions and ask the tough questions. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good one. Stay safe.